plug into this data to create a very personalized experiences or give you a personalized app layer experience. And the fourth thing is essentially if this data layer or this database is actually valuable, it's fundamentally we feel that it would be good to have it in a blockchain layer, uh, so that everyone can access this and create valuable experiences on top of it. So this is just like a quick intro about how we are thinking about building Merkle. uh, I will just take a break, like before we move into the next segue, wherein we're gonna talk about what we did. If somebody has any question, I think there's a bunch of people who raised hands also. Or Rohan, like before moving to the
Yep.
next segue, I would love to answer questions if somebody has. Or I can see there's one person who has raised his hand. Should
Guys, if you
we?
wanna ask any question, just raise your
I
hands or
can't.
just drop in the.
Wait. I can't. Yeah.
You
Okay.
guys hear
Say
me?
no. Yeah, I can. Yeah,
You guys hear me now? Yeah. So just want to say that, guys, if someone has any question, just put it in the chat or raise your hands. Meanwhile, Akash, I'd like you to facilitate that. And if anyone has any questions regarding what we are thinking, be it our vision, mission, strategy, and what are our values, anything like that. So if you have any question, just drop in here. And if not, we'll ideally move forward because I can see you guys are in a fun mood. So
yeah. Okay. Hey, I think you raised your hand. Do you have any question on everything? Yeah,
Hey guys, how you guys doing? You guys all right?
having fun.
same, sir.
Never sure if people can hear me okay when I join the spaces. It's always usually Twitter just completely just blocks. But, yeah, Discord seems to be working at the moment. Yeah, a big fan of Merkel and sort of the vision that it's trying to achieve. I've been a super big fanboy of like zero knowledge proof. That was until ZK thinks that I was a Sybil, however. But I think Merkel is the alpha here, and we are still looking to see ZK to its fullest extent. So super bullish here. I was just kind of wondering. My question was, what if there was any hint as to what July will look like for Merkel, and if there is a program for the community to get under, because yeah, we've been building under the radar, and now it looks like it looks like something is brewing now. So I'm just kind of curious about that.
Okay. So I just understood the first question. What is a way to community to participate? I think that was one. Can you repeat the first question again for me?
What was it? Yeah, no, just what does July look like for Merkel, and what is there any clues as to how the community can participate in July? That could be any clues. What can you tell us?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think there's like multiple ways we feel that community can participate. Like there's one way is in terms of actually building the solution and doing the job that we as a team do. So we are ideally also kind of streamlining a lot of things that okay, here are a bunch of things we do in marketing, business development, or let's say support thing, and what are the things that we can outsource to our community or get them involved to hire the best talent. So that's the one first part wherein as soon as we establish the fixed framework for each work stream, we're going to open up certain role in that particular work stream so that people can participate. And second is, I think the most important component, the way we are looking at proving humans. So we see it as in a probabilistic lens. So first step is essentially collecting all this digital data from internet and predicting patterns to essentially get to this probability. But we feel that the second and one another most important step would be uh, actual human verifiers on chain, like people who can vouch for certain other individuals using some kind of economic incentive models. So that's another important piece, which we feel, and that's the whole reason that we decided to build in public, because we realized that if we need to actually have this network which verifies people on ground, there needs to be really enough stake of these individuals to create a system which is economically always makes sense to do the right thing. So these are the two things we would roll out. I do not. I think I did not answer your question with a very correct actionables, but I think by the next community call, we would try to come up with something where people can directly get involved with.
Well, yeah, still a bit mysterious still, but you did allude to a few things, sort of contributing, kind of contributor program possibly coming up, maybe some more partnerships that we've not heard about yet, and just more other stuff about zero knowledge proofs and maybe a testnet. Who knows? But no, that's super. I'm excited to be here and listen to the update. Thanks for leading to that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. Your voice was little cracky for me, so okay, thank you so
Hey,
much.
hey Pash, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We have a bunch of questions. Like I've collected 7 questions till now. So ideally, I'd suggest let's move on. And when we are in the last, we'll ideally take these questions because I have noted it. So I have that with me. So let's move to the slide and then eventually take the questions, if that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. 100%. I think that's much better approach rather than like stopping in between. Cool. Mm, let me see. Where is my screen? Uh, cool. Okay. So what we did till now, there's like bunch of things that I'll go one by one. I think the first thing that everybody asks around is essentially recap of House of Incentive Chapter 1. So as I said in the beginning, our first step of actually creating this layer is to collect existing digital footprints. So that's why we created this House of Incentive Chapter 1, wherein we we very carefully design what kind of things kind of indicate real human signals on chain, and how can we gamify this experience of collecting the existing digital footprint. And major aim for this whole campaign was to you know test our existing attestation infrastructure, which is essentially giving out you this attestations that you did this, which would essentially be used later on for building our scores. So that went well. I think that testing really helped us to realize what could happen if. So we initially built that whole infrastructure on IPFS, but that also made us realize what could be the scalability issues. But nevertheless, I think that testing is done. We almost gave out 1.1 million attestation in last 90 days. We feel like our system is right now capable of handling at least 10 to 20x from this particular number. So that was the first aim. Second aim was to essentially have these people who can connect their wallets. We can also have their Twitter, Discord, and other digital footprint to essentially curate these uh, identifiers or footprints or graphs to figure out what are their essential digital footprints and how likely they are to be human. And the third and most important part of this House of Incentive was essentially to make sure that how can we also distribute this ownership with our real humans. So essentially, the main reward of this House of Incentive was Hands of Support NFTs. We see them as, like, since you guys have been paying minting fees for these NFTs, we kind of see that as a kind of a people who have been investing in a project and they should be rewarded in the future. So our goal is to make sure that we identify real human beings from that interaction. So yeah, those NFTs would be rewarded against Mercle token whenever it's there. Um, we have already I think this is an important part, and that's why I wanted to talk about. We've already written a very detailed blog around how you can get what tier. So I think I read this across Twitter a lot, and a lot of bunch of interviews that I did, that a lot of platforms or communities have been really you know, it's a dart you're throwing in blind, like people don't know. So that's why we decided, okay, fuck it, we're gonna tell people like what is essentially important and what we value right now, and that's why we posted this out. So if anyone who has not checked it out, the whole agenda right now, why we are focusing on DeFi XP is because right now we feel for this House of Incentive Chapter 1, we wanted to focus more on chain digital footprint. I know that a lot of people have talked about that it requires a lot of capital, but rest assured, this is just like one thing. There is social DeFi XP and community XP as well, and we're gonna do a specific incentivization for those. And we understand that not every human can, afford to spend like 2 3 ether. So that's just one clarity. But yeah, if you guys have not checked out this blog, this is the main overall house of incentive that everyone was essentially looking for. If you have any question, feel free to ask us. But yeah, we appreciate you spending time. We appreciate you also collecting these attestations, helping us build our reputations and score and attestation schemas. And we want to make sure that we reward you people. We reward actual real human for this contribution, and that's why we have put it out clearly for you. Uh, Moving forward, so yeah, as I said in the first beginning, there's this two things that we are focusing right now: consumer platform and community. For the last 1 month, what did we essentially ship? There was like two major thing that we also realized from all our customer interviews is like, when you do tasks, it's not being verified and all those things. So there are like two very core important infrastructure pieces that are required to validate those actions. One is a pricing engine and second is an indexer. So think of it like if there's a task of, bridge this much amount, there's like this blockchain space is like a multiple distributed blockchains which are still in a development phase, and then there are like millions of tokens on these blockchains which are also in a very fluctuating pricing mechanism. So making sure who did what at what dollar value valuation is something is very critical. So we have spent like almost like last 1 month making sure that we create a both this pricing and on-chain indexer in a way that at least it can handle traffic of what we are having right now, at least 20x from that. So that's one important piece. Other than that, some additional feature, I think we changed the Mu point condition because a lot of people said that it doesn't make sense. 6 hours is something that you can't do. Another thing that's gonna be live this week is referrals. We want to make sure that there was a lot of demand for people that they want to invite their friends and they want to be uh, rewarded for that. So every time now you invite people for these badges or any kind of campaigns, you will be able to earn certain percentage of their mint commission fees to bring your friends on chain. Uh, yeah, I think in terms of on the consumer platform, we had some great partnerships from SyncSwap to Linea to Trader Joe, which I think, as I said every time, like we want to act like a broker for you guys. So we have this platform which essentially builds your reputation scores, but there's also a very dedicated business development team that actually talk to these projects and understand that what is the persona of users that they are looking for, and we make sure that we get the best deal for our community. And that's the reason we make sure in our Discord we talk to you guys that whether you guys are interested in this kind of incentive or not. So I think these partnerships are really important. We're going to focus more in the coming month. And we will try to, not try, I think we will make sure that we get the best and exclusive incentive programs on Mercle. And what is in a pipeline till now, I'm really excited to what is coming. So yeah, there's like 5 different partnerships. I think collectively these partnership distributed like we try to make sure that we also distribute some liquid rewards for our users. So collectively, like 39 ether were distributed in last 30 days. In terms of growth, I think our retention rate is increasing. So was our primary focus, that we had a lot of users, but we wanted to make sure that we have really loyal user. So based on the pricing, the overall growth of users is little down, but retention and contribution to the platform is high, which is a positive signal, which I feel right now. Uh, I think Rohan, this was your section that you wanted to talk about.
Yep, I'd love to talk about this. So
Yeah,
let me know if you can hear me because I am always skeptical about my voice.
I
So
can.
yeah. So ideally, guys, whatever Pash was telling you guys, it was more around what we did, what's the strategy, and eventually what were the growth stats. Because we always want to be transparent with you guys, whatever we are building and whatever we are doing. That's why even if stats are bad, good, or whatever, we try to put it in front of you. And we have been doing some heavy lifting when it comes to community, be it on Twitter or Discord or even Telegram nowadays. So the focus has always been to be transparent and drive that organic behavior, which is why community is love, is what we say. And we love you truly. And trust me, I do. You can ask Devansh or Pash whenever a user is complaining about something. I'm the one who is curious, ideally, because I'm very much attached when I'm on Discord. So here are a few numbers. Like we have been growing good on Twitter. Recently, we crossed 100,000 followers. That was good. We had a couple of viral posts. So thanks to the anonymous intern. Some numbers for you to look into the screen and some of the screenshots. I mean, the good screenshots that I could bag. There are hundreds of those, but it is there. Prashant, can we move to the next slide? So on Discord, now we have grown to around 24,000 people. We have a 7% retention rate, which is good as per industry standards. And we have this close spam role. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that. We have around 30 people there. So it's a close knitted group. The criteria to get into that group is simple. Just one second, I want to mention one thing. Akash, I hope you're capturing those questions because if I'm speaking, I'm not able to do that. Yeah. So, close fam role, the criteria is simple. You are very honest. You are very brutal when it comes to giving us feedback, and bug us. Just bug us time to time and help us make the product better. That's the close fam role that we give them. So here are a bunch of people we build together with. So we have grown that to 30 as of now. Some of the good screenshots that I've posted here, and we have a lot of good conversations on Discord. So I'm pretty bullish on community. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, the very important thing that even if you see we keep talking via Twitter is that community first, our thesis. This is the thesis that we are super bullish on. There are few reasons and there are few steps that we take, keeping community in mind. Shan, next slide. So I would love to give you some examples. Like recently, if you saw that we had a form out wherein we got around 130 or 140 entries, wherein we asked people to help us understand certain things. So the reason to do that was we want to understand our tribe, what you guys are exactly doing in Web3 and how your day looks. It's pretty simple because the best way to build a class product is to understand the needs of your users, what they enjoy doing, and what's fun for them. So we took around 40 plus people. We have interviewed them, and some screenshots here. You can see we got a guy who is pretty old, and he was also a user. So that's why I'm always bullish about community. So we got a lot of insights, a lot of feedbacks, and a hell lot of reality check that we need to improve on. So thank you everyone who were there, who helped us. And when I say that we listen to you, we really mean that. Some examples include like you see, we increased the Mu Points duration to 12 hours because we realized that a lot of folks were saying that they don't want 6 hours interval. Then we had a poll in our Discord, and people eventually agreed for 12 hours. So we did that. Whatever UI changes we do, you guys are very upfront to say that we want this, and we listen to you. We try to incorporate that. And before like hands of support, the house of incentives when it started, a lot of people asked about what's the eligibility, how can I get those hands of support, what's the criteria. So we made that live by listening to you. Whenever we do some sort of raffle, I always ask in community, especially in close fam, like what's the NFT that you want? Is it Lil Pudgy? Are they Emilio? Is it my lady? So we try to reward have rewards in raffles that you like. Then when we wanted to extend the house of incentives, we didn't have that plan to do that, but we did a poll. Most of them said that they want an extension, so we extended that. Also recently, a lot of games that we're incorporating on Discord, well, not a lot, but at least two or three. So we also did a poll for that. So the gist is whatever we do, we listen to you, we understand you, and work on your feedback eventually. So it's like we're open and transparent in every decision we make. And there's this line that I got from Prashant. It's like community is the new moat, which is very true. So thank you guys. Thank you for always supporting us. Prashant, I guess there's this technical stuff
Awesome.
coming in, so I would want to drop. I don't want people to know my tech skills, so I don't want to embarrass myself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rohan. This was really, really nice. And yeah, I think this is something that I also want to give a shout out to. We, I feel that we were not able to launch a lot of things this month because we did that intentionally. To be honest, I personally, me and Rohan went on to like calls throughout the day, like 3 a.m. at night, people from across like Japan, Europe, US, and I think I really really value everyone who came up and shouted out that they want to speak to us. We got to learn a lot. All these users, we gonna this process is I was just having a call before this community call. I think Masood is still here, so there's like two people. So yeah, I think great, like huge shout out to all these people who have been taking calls with us. It was super super helpful. We fundamentally feel like staying as close as we can to you guys will essentially help us to outrun anyone else who's building product in a similar landscape. So yeah, thank you so much. This was really helpful. If somebody is interested, there's this still, they can DM us. But yeah, we are closing that down in like next 4 or 5 days. So if somebody has any valuable feedback or want to speak to the team or have any questions for me, they can DM us and we can schedule a call. Uh, cool. What's next? Interesting. So these are a bunch of charts that we just posted at the last moment. But like I'll tell you, I think last time I shared about that we have got our in-house. We have set up a certain GPUs in-house, and we are training some data models that we can include in our product. So there's an update on that. So previously we are using Llama 3, but soon later, like I think within two weeks of testing, we realized that Llama 3 will not work for us. So try to imagine Llama 3 is like a this wild, imaginative intelligence which has like billions of parameter, and that has been designed in a certain way. And when we put a user data about their gas spend or interaction with different project, essentially we realize that we don't need that much parameter, and using Llama 3, it we are not able to predict what are the factors which are essentially affecting a airdrop of a user. So for example, when we did this for eigen layer, we realized that there was a lot of lido interaction that was essentially contributing. So yeah, that essentially made us realize that Llama 3 as it is might not work. The variable data that they essentially use, the parameters, is something that will not work for us. So last 3 weeks we've been designing our own model. The whole process of that whole model is to use the existing information and only put the features that we feel that on which projects right now decide to incentivize. So I think that thing is still work in progress. Our efficiency is somewhere around 60%. We feel there's a good scope to increase that efficiency. The whole process, the whole idea in order to for building all of this model is to give you a predictability of how likely that's one feature, but I think there's multiple features that we can build once we have certain kind of models, like whether somebody is a human, somebody is how likely to use any new DeFi product. Um, but yeah, that's something which is happening on the model that we're training using our AI. So most likely our close family group will be able to test. So for example, if you are farming any new project, and let's say that category comes under certain category that we have already created a model, we might want to give you the probability of what you can get from that particular protocol. uh, what's next? So yeah, I think this is like a consolidated view of what's going to happen. There are few partnerships in terms of getting more exclusive incentive programs for you. I think there's Rango Exchange, QuickSwap. There's bunch of 3, 4 more that we are yet to confirm, but we are like actively having a conversation. So at least 3 to 5 exclusive incentive partnership collaboration, which will happen on platform to help you get exclusive rewards. Uh, in terms of community, there's gonna be more rituals within the Discord so that people can know each other who they are. We see this Discord space as purely a place where people can be themselves, like whatever they are doing, and can find these niches of similar minded people. Like when I spoke to like 55 people of like almost like 50 odd people, I can realize that there are a lot of common things that they do on chain, and they can really add value to each other. So there's going to be certain Discord games and some rituals that we're going to be adding. We would really appreciate if people participate. We'll try to make sure that we accommodate different time zones. In terms of product, uh, we're going to revamp a lot of things. There would be a lot together different experience, a lot together different vibe in next 3 to 4 weeks. We will be dropping out Mercle originals, so like Mercle OG NFTs. So all the people who have joined us at the very beginning, we want to celebrate that. We are almost close to 1 year anniversary of building Mercle. Um, there's going to be a chapter 2 that I talked about, which is essentially making sure that all the humans who act as a verifier, how do we? So that's like a second component. As I said, first component was existing digital information. Second component of actually making sure that how and how many geographical real verifiers do we need and what they have to do. So that's going to be coming out. We just need some more time to finalize these things. And I think on Twitter, it's just you and your intern. You guys can have fun. We would just like to, chill around and have fun with you guys. Uh, cool. And I think that's it. We are done. There's like bunch of questions that you guys have posted, and it's time to answer all of these questions. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and let's do this. Yeah, you're muted, dude.
Oh, sorry. So I'm saying I have a lot of questions for you. So let's get started. Uh, if all okay, Akash, I'd like you to note down questions from here. So yeah. By the way, Anand, we were 105 the last I saw. So that is crazy. Those are some good
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah. The community
So
is
the
growing,
very
man.
first question is, community is the only mode. So I'd like to start with questions. If before that, if anyone wants to speak and then ask questions, you are welcome to raise your hands. Meanwhile, Prashant has a lot of explanation to do when he'll be answering the questions. So I suggest do listen to him because you may get some of the other alpha. Anyway, so how will Merkle compete with other community-based platforms like Layer 3, Interact, etc.? Can you explain your edge with this? This is the first question.
Okay. I think that's a very interesting question. I might be wrong. I'll just tell you what I think as a founder, uh, and why we are different. I fundamentally feel that whatever is the existing platform are there right now, whether it's Galaxy, Layer 3, Interact, this is a very, very new phenomena. Like airdrop incentivizing, it's such a new thing that even people are iterating. Like every day there's like new protocol trying to understand how they want to give out these incentives. So first of all, I feel that this problem space is just starting. So this it is yet to be very, like, there's it will mature in time. People will figure out, DeFi protocol will figure out what is the right way for them to incentivize. Bridges will figure out what is the right way to give out the tokens. Layer one will figure out what is the right way to figure out tokens. So, A, the problem statement is in a very early niche state. That's the first thing. And second thing, I feel like how we can essentially beat all the other platform is, I think it's a very, I think it's also a time, like what is the time and opportunity in the market right now. If whether you see Interact, Layer three or Galaxy, first of all, I think Galaxy has already, like they are. I feel like as a founder, whenever I try to evaluate, I feel the product is so shitty, and having so much money, having such a product doesn't make sense. For layer 3, I think their token allocation is too less, like 50%. They've already sold a lot of to investors, so that's really less. And since we are at a time that we have an opportunity to actually give out those tokens to our community member, that would be our niche. Same goes for Interact. I think they have a totally different vision. They don't even understand. I think as a founder, they have a certain different vision of becoming a marketplace platform. So I don't even consider Interact as a competition. So yeah, this is what I think. Nobody has cracked it. All the existing platforms, I personally feel as a founder, when I look at token economics and all the things that they do, I feel that would only make sense for their personal team and their own investor exits, and most likely not help a lot of people who have been doing stuff. And I think it's a right point, and we're just taking this bet of being community first, and we might fail. It's just a risky bet.
Yep,
Um, yeah.
that was very apt, especially the layer 3 part where you are actually a bit
And
explaining
also,
me.
to be honest,
So this all is
just
different.
one thing I want to add. I just want to add, like, I respect everyone. Like, I think all the people who are building in Web3, like, it takes a lot of guts to build a company. And I'm not saying that they're wrong or they're bad people. It's just that I see them as a very different person. Or, like, when I evaluate from my founder lens, I have certain personal opinions. But I think all of them have created a great companies, and which require a lot of courage, a lot of hard work to build that. So, yeah, I respect all of them as a founders.
But shots fired, Prashant. Anyway, move to the next question. Next question is, so what Merkel is doing now, the House of Incentives, how does it incorporate with the value and mission? They want to understand, like, how do you connect House of Incentives and values and missions? Do you have answered that? I'd like you to quickly go through that once more.
Sorry, what was the question? How we were incorporated?
Basically, how you are associating House of Incentives with the values and mission or vision and the strategies that you started with. How House of Incentives fits into that.
Okay, yeah, I think I already put it into my presentation, but if somebody has missed it, essentially incentives help you to accelerate certain kind of growth and kickstart this network. So it has bunch of feature like get people, use our tech, build this data liquidity. Also, people who, like once they use it and come on the platform, also whatever the infrastructure that we have built, based on that, create incentive logic so that people who are likely to be human or most likely to be human get them involved and give them certain token allocation. So there's like two part is to a use our platform, give us feedback, test our infrastructure, and also based on those conditions that we have also like laid out very upfront. If you do all those things, we feel that you are as one of our early investor to our company, and you would be rewarded for that.
Got it. So, as you already answered this question before, so I'd like to move on to the next question, uh, which is like, how do you uh, arbitrate between being financially accessible without being an easy target for bot? Because the costs are low, right? The barrier to entry is low. So, what's your plan to battle bots? Ideally, that's a very good question. So, I've not written the names who are asking these questions, but these questions will certainly answer clear a lot of doubts of people in our community. I hope you got the question, Prashant, or I can repeat it.
Yeah. I think I get it. So I think yes, I think like just having like a dynamic pricing or like having people do bunch of tasks on chain, cannot like help you fight bots. I feel like in next 6 to 10 months, it's gonna be getting it'll get like 100x more difficult because like as for example layer 3 has already identified layer 0 have already identified a lot of Sybil patterns. So yes, whether we include dynamic minting fees or anything, it would not we will never be 100% certain to say that he's not a bot. But as I said, we see it as a probabilistic lens. uh, the what is the requirement, like based on talking to a lot of teams, the present requirement of all these projects, they are not worried about single user using 10, 5, 10 wallets to use a protocol. For projects, the real Sybil is a user having 1,000, 10,000 wallets and farming a protocol. So that's why we see this as a probabilistic lens. Essentially, whatever we are doing right now, it's more of a data analysis and creating our algorithm to predict a possibility of being a human or not, which could be based on a lot of on-chain and off-chain data. But we would move towards a certain scale wherein we would have a system that would say that okay, this is 100% right. I see, like I would not say what we're gonna going towards, but I like very broadly I see there are like two models to do it. One is like WorldCoin like model of KYC, but a lot of people hate that. But that's like the foolproof solution. And the second model is like Bitcoin validator model, wherein there are people who are validating transaction on a chain, and the way the incentivization of verifying those transactions is being designed, it's always more beneficial for a user to put a right transaction into the system. So the second module could be like creating a social economical model using your token so that people can vouch for each other to verify if somebody is a human or not. So that's the approach. I think again we see that there's going to be multiple people who would use multiple kind of different solution. Like let's say a marketplace platform like Polymarket would say that I am okay to use a identity solution which gives me proof of humanity with let's say 10% error. But let's say a decentralized exchange or any other platform or a social media platform would not want even 10% error. So I think like having a probabilistic scale will allow us to actually see where this market is going towards and create the right use case. But yeah, super going forward, there's going to be uh, some social token economics incentive models to make sure there are other humans who are verifying or vouching for different people to verify that they are humans.
Got it. To be very honest, humans for the win. So quickly moving on to the next question because we have a bunch of you. There's this guy asking who's releasing these cat images. They're always awesome. So we have this in our a designer who's working. She's working with us, and she has been brilliant till now. So it's her who's making all this. Also, there's this question, Prashant. Is there any plan to differentiate older online footprints versus newer? For example, someone who has been trading on Uniswap for 3 years versus someone who just did 10 transactions back to back to get a badge or create a footprint. Which criteria or which action should have a higher humanity score? What do you think around this?
Uh, I think definitely having like a longer history helps, but like people sell accounts and do all the bunch of other things. uh, so I don't think so we can just like think this problem with like one vector. There's like multiple data attached to whether asserting that somebody is a human or not. So it definitely is a plus point, but I don't think so. Like you can think of like let's say you joined Instagram 10 years ago, I joined today, right? I'm also a football fan, you also. So it like time is a factor that might come in, but essentially for the use case that we are solving, I don't think so this since and the market space of crypto is really less right now and there's a lot of new people joining in. um, I don't think so it's a must have, but it's definitely have a plus point to a model that somebody might create or some protocol might use. but not something that I would say 100% say.
Ash, be ready because I'm gonna drop two back-to-back good questions. The very first question should be, what's the significance of new points?
What's the
How do
significance
you
of
see
new
that?
points?
How do you see that?
Uh, yeah, I think
And I want that
we
answer, man, which you essentially tell us within the team regarding the bot thing and the cursor moving here and there, regarding the patterns and everything on that. So
yeah,
significance of new
ideally.
points.
So I'll tell you. So I we when we were brainstorming internally and we were thinking about this humanity problem. So if you remember, like there's a captcha right now that we do. We click and it just goes tick off, and it say you are human, right? So what essentially that captcha is doing is essentially seeing how your cursor move within a screen to actually see whether it's a so a human will move a cursor like this, but if that the screen is being operated by a bot, it would move like this, right? So uh, our idea was essentially to see that okay, if we have a daily check-in and we can essentially heat map where a person, like where a single person is coming, like if somebody is coming every day, if they're clicking on every day on an exactly same point, that's most likely a script who's trying to farm us. So that was the first intention, and then I really liked it that it would make the platform fun, and that was the whole motivation to include that.
And we love cats. We love him.
Yeah.
So we have another good question. So it's like you guys, like we already mentioned this a lot of times, right? That a farmer is also a valuable user. So what do you think that a airdrop farmer is allowed to use more than one wallet to farm something, or you think this is some non-human action? What do you think around that?
I think it's a very natural action. I have five wallets because I don't want to risk everything into one wallet. The way this whole app has been developing, or the people have been using different infrastructure, uh, people will already have multiple accounts for multiple functionalities. As I said, even protocols are not very strict about that. Like they're fine with like 5 6 wallets. It's just the bigger symbols that everybody knows. Like even everybody has like three different wallets for different stuff. Like I have a random wallet where I don't trust a lot of websites, and I want to connect to. So yeah, I don't think so. Having multiple wallets is important. Like is something against being human. That's actually humans do. But having a ability to prove that there is a single human behind these 10 wallets or 5 wallets can be valuable, or can be something that other protocol wants to know.
What you said, Bash. So the problem is always with a person or an entity, or let's say an industrial farmer who can create more than 10,000, 5,000 wallets. Recently, we saw in a layer zero finding a user has 60,000 wallet, and you dare not forget Ruslan, right? So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's the problem there. So
yeah.
I'll move
Because
into the next
essentially
question. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
you're
Sorry, sorry.
you're giving a, network token to them, and let's say like if the whole purpose, and if the network governance is tied to a token, then you are like putting yourself into a centralization risk of having a lot, like a single identity having these many tokens.
Yep. So moving on to the next question. Question is basically they want to understand and get about our history. Who are our backers? What's the funding? What's the runway? Or how the finances look right now? Eventually, because yeah. So that's the question.
Okay. Our background is I'm an aerospace engineer. I think 80% of people, other than designer, everybody is an engineer. I have been building startup for last 7 years. I spent time in Web3 for last 5 years working for different organization. We raised our last round during a FTX collapse, which was led by Protocol Labs. We have not announced it, so I'm not sure. Like it was a smaller round. We have not diluted. Like our dilution is less than 5%. That's what I can say. And we were been approached by a lot of, so there's a lot of conversation going on. If you've seen, like, layer 3 is also raised. So right now, we have money for at least 1.5 year, but I think we need more money. So definitely there's going to be a raise. We are just internally processing what it makes sense. Like, so let's say there's like a lot of VCs who wants to invest, and then is there any way we can, let's say, involve our community to also be that entry point? Because that's what the issue is being. Like, if we sold right now to someone, let's say what, like layer 3 or anyone else did, they might have sold like 15% or 16% to a VC, and now a market week maker will maintain a price and then slowly dump on retail. But if somehow we can allow our community to come in and also pitch into certain rounds, so I think we're gonna do that. Ideally, I feel like all of our community are smarter, and if we can like chunk out certain allocation for them, that would be also good. But ideally, so
Got
I
it.
think my thought process is we have raised less than, so to answer this question directly, we have raised less than 5%, like we have diluted less than 5% in our first fundraise. Next one, I'm not interested in doing. So what I'm gonna, ideally what we'll do is we'll try to raise from the community first. My plan is simple: raise from a community, and then pick out a really smaller share for an investor who can get you into a market like an exchange or a good market maker, so that the token launching should be right at a right price. But I think if we can get a community right, a lot of people who have skin in the game or probably are invested and can also, because that's what it matters about. Like, if you have actually invested community, get them in, get a, like, if that hype is really good, get this investor or a market maker that can give you exchange distribution, and then this token is being efficiently distributed to exactly the right people, not with, like, two or three VCs who are gonna slowly dump. So yeah, I think we are in conversation. Like, I think in last, because since we've been doing so well, there's been a lot of conversation. But before we pull the trigger on that, because since we have been talking a lot about community first on our Discord, Twitter, and everywhere, we would first give a chance to our community to put in the check, right? That would be treated as a, like, just making sure that you also have an equal entry point to enter into this mission vision, and if you trust the team. If you don't, that's fine. And if that allocation, let's say we decide that we want to raise X amount and only 10% or 20% or 50% get fills from community, we'll raise rest from the VC. But yeah, that's the goal. I think we are lucky that we have a lot of allocation that we can give out to community. And if we could do that, I think that would be long term much valuable for our ecosystem.
Got it. So, Prashant, we don't have any major questions. There are a few questions around the campaigns and everything. So, I'd like to take that up very quickly. Meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions regarding anything, just put it on chat. And Akash, make sure that you have those questions ready, because if I'm done answering those small questions, then Tash can answer any of the different questions. So, we'll quickly start. There a minimum requirement for M-Batch campaign? Ideally, the question is not clear right now. I don't understand what you mean by minimum requirement. And question is, uh, I know only DeFi actions can't differentiate my wallet. Okay, got it. So, can you add more transaction-based campaign and less LP stake-based fees? Yes, that's a very good question. So initially, we build this campaigns in a way. Example, let's say there are people who can complete one ETH task. There are people who cannot complete one ETH task. But when we talk to a lot of people, we realize that issue that people say that okay, we want less value of task is that they want to see something completed. The feeling of getting that campaign completed was missing, and that feedback has been accounted for. Trust me, we're gonna make this platform better, and eventually every all of these things will be considered. The next question is. So we have a question like, is it important to do social tasks and get XPs, or just minting badges are enough for a person to qualify? So to get hands of support, NFTs you need a certain DeFi XP criteria, and when it comes to social and community XPs, we haven't included them in the chapter one of incentives. We have some plans around those XPs, but yes, they are equally important and they equally have value because whatever on-chain stuff you do and whatever content, whatever you share on Twitter, follow someone or something like that, you are equally contributing in spreading the word. So that is valuable.
Hi.
I think Franklin raised his hand, so I got him up on the stage if he has any question.
Hey Franklin, if you
Yeah,
have
good evening.
something, GM sir.
GM.
Okay, I think that was a false one.
Hi,
I think
can you
he
hear me?
mistakenly raised his hand. We can move.
Yes, Franklin, we can hear you. If you want to ask something,
Okay,
please go ahead.
I I have a question.
Go on.
Um,
And
and
this,
the hand of God's campaign, is it the same thing? Is there going to be a campaign?
What just happened?
I think he was not able to. I think he accidentally raised his hand, and I don't know. I think he didn't have any
Oh,
question.
I
That's
guess he
why.
was asking some questions. So, uh, Franklin, if you can raise your hands again, we'll add you. I'm done with questions, man. I'm waiting for Akash. Akash, do you have any questions for me? Okay, Franklin, let's get done. Ask your question, man.
Hello,
Yep, we can hear you. Go on.
I'm saying, M badge the only criteria to gain the airdrop? And have you guys applied for grants or raised any kind of money, like seed round, or is it going to be a private sale, public sale, and the rest?
So we have already answered those questions. Just to reiterate again for you, uh, the House of Incentives Chapter 1 ends on June 30th, and you will be getting hands of support NFTs. Those NFTs can be redeemable in the future for Mercle tokens. Regarding the funding, as Prashant told, yes, previously we did a very recently we did a very small round, like the dilution is less than 5%. And for the future, we have a plan where we want to give everyone an equal chance to get the same entry point to be a part of this project, and we want to do a fair community raise and then eventually go and bag good market makers to do good. So yeah,
Okay. Would there be a pre-sale?
I would like to answer that question specifically after a few days because Pash can be the best person to answer that question.
What? Which one?
Basically, Franklin wants to understand pre-sale, public sale, something like that.
Why I'm not able to listen to him? Wait. Oh, okay. He was just muted for me. So yeah, Franklin, as I said, there's like bunch of things that we are evaluating. Um, like this again, as a company, there's two option: community raise. What are the pros and cons of a raise? How to actually do it? Like essentially, you can't, you can't be in US or Singapore right now. Like there's also a legal jurisdiction and like things you can do. So we are right now in a process of talking to our legal team and to also understand what if if we have to do that raise, what would be the right mechanism, and you know so I can't share anything right now, but I think it's gonna be
Okay.
soon. Okay, Franklin is I think his audio is really bad for me. I can't hear any shit. Like I can't hear anything, man.
Hey, Plant Man, it's good to see you, man. So, guys, I'm not sure if I should break this news, but Plantman recently became dad. So congratulations for that, sir. I hope you're enjoying your busy life. I mean, I cannot find that sound thing on this stage channel, man. Gosh, you get that. Yes, congrats in the chats.
Yeah, I
So, Muscle Dad. Dan, you're damn funny, but I'm not sure why you're not active on Discord. It's just because you're busy farming. So get your ass back, sir. What is, bro? You should hesitate. I'll get you a course. You should learn about hesitation.
oh, he's right. He's right. That was funny. Nice.
Akash, you don't want to go into that territory, sir. So, I guess if you have any questions, go ask it. If not, let's have some fun. If you want to drop something in chat, Akash, you should come on call, man. Devansh, you should too. Not sure why you guys shy away. It's not that you guys look good in the chat.
Yeah, Rohan, everybody wants you to sing. Oh, oh it's Akash.
I can never think. Okay, so we are around 1 hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the call. So if there's any question, it's good because I'm not gonna sing. When referral starts, yes, Prashant. When referral starts,
I think it's already internally been tested by today. So by next Monday, it should be live for close fam at least, right? Why are you laughing,
yes.
Rohan? Did I said something? No,
So
no,
this
it's gonna be
guy,
live by
so
Monday.
I saw this shirtless human role now, so weird.
Oh,
So basically, regarding referral guys, we have already get it tested in our close fam group. So it should be live in the next 3 days, I'd say, at max. And yeah, it's gonna be good. Referrals are good the way we have created it. Ready for
shirtless
the
humor. Anyone
acting?
who anyone who come and shares like when like turn on their camera and go shirtless, should we create like a shirtless human role? That was funny.
I've got a,
Okay,
I've can't wait.
I'm leaving, man. I have another work, another call. So I'm leaving. Thank you so much, guys. We all
Okay, Pash, you can
end
leave.
call.
We are staying here for some fun.
Okay, awesome.